So the customer service and inventory manual for Best Buy. So welcome to training. This is meant to be an enjoyable learning experience. If you ever have any questions, please ask, I'm here to help. Let's get started. So what will be happening in the next few days, we're not actually doing it over the course of the few days, but we're going to go over customer interaction and do reviews of that. We're going to go over the inventory material and a review of that, and then go over coworker interaction and do a review of that. So we have some group rules. I want you to ask questions if you have them. If you think you have an answer to a question, just say it. I'd like for you guys to answer questions because I know that you're learning some stuff. Share responsibility. I don't want one person answering every single question. Be engaged. Pay attention to the details. We're going to be going through a good chunk of stuff, so I want everyone to understand what we're learning. Raise your hand. Try not to interrupt. Raising your hand is going to be really important, especially if people have more than one thing to say. Work as a team and be respectful. Don't be a yes man. I want you guys to, if you have different opinions, maybe say them and we can talk about that stuff as a group. And the number one thing is just to enjoy yourself. So what's expected of everyone? I'm here to answer any of your questions. If you ask me a question I don't have an answer to, you're doing a good job. I need to learn just as much as anyone else. I expect everyone to listen and pay attention. The training will be beneficial for anyone involved, and participation is very helpful to the process. Everyone needs to contribute. This is not a class that you can fail. You should not end this class with any questions in your head. And lastly, why are we doing this? The training manual helps to aid new or current employees perform better in their own workplace. For current employees, it might be covering certain things that you've already known, or it might give you some new things. Retailing may be understood as the final step in the distribution of merchandise for consumption by the end consumers. So we're the last step before people actually get what they want. So we need to be sure it's a good experience. Here's some questions to ask before we start. So the questions that you guys can ask yourselves. Do I have good chemistry with others? Do I feel appreciated? Do I enjoy who I work with? And most important, am I happy here? The answer to any of these is no. Pay attention and ask questions whenever you need. Being a good employee is important, but happiness is more important than anything. Last thing, after this we'll actually get the material. I cannot stress this enough, questions are encouraged. If you have any questions, try and save them until the slide is over. The information might still be covered, and I just haven't mentioned it yet. Either you run the day or the day runs you. I may be reading the slides, but you guys are running the show. So, customer interaction. Customer enters the store, you have to greet them politely. Hello, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is, welcome to Best Buy. Give them a smile and ask them if they need any help. You may run into a customer that seems to have a problem with finding an item. Ask them politely if they need any help. If they don't, then just tell them to ask if they do eventually need any help. And if they do need help, do your best to try and direct them to whatever they need. If you can't give them the help they think they need, try and find a coworker who knows a little bit more. If they're looking for a laptop per se, ask what's most important to them. So if they're most focused on music or playing games or stuff like that, try and find something that's going to suit their needs, what they want. So if a customer is being rude and you feel uncomfortable, ask the customer what the situation is and let them know that you're only trying to help them the best you can. If they can be helped by a different associate more adequately, get that associate as soon as you can. If the situation escalates and you become very uncomfortable, you can either leave the situation or ask them to leave the store, only as a last resort. So a quick review. The customer enters, what do you do?
Greet them, say hello, how's their day going, if they have any questions, try to understand what they want to get out of the store for that day. Perfect.
Customer says they're looking for an item, how do you help?
You just direct them to the item?
Yeah, just try and point them in the right direction. If you don't know exactly what they're looking for, you can't help them that much, try and get someone else to. Customer says the items are overpriced and the store is terrible. What do you say?
It's kind of out of your control. You can't do much else there.
Yeah, just say that you're trying to help them the best you can, and you're sorry that they don't like the stuff at the store, and maybe you could recommend somewhere else if it seems like they're just gonna stay there and be rude. So now we'll start going over technology. Employees will study as a group, so the first job is to pick which piece of technology you want to start with. So that would be like laptops or phones or gaming consoles, keyboards, stuff like that, just any piece of technology. Pick the top 5 selling items in that category. Study each item as extensively as possible. The measurements, the qualities, what makes it good, what makes it bad, you know, kind of just the ups and downs of it. Now we'll just talk about restocking. When you realize an item is out of stock or low on stock, mark it down on the list in the back office. Inventory comes in every Wednesday, so it's important to write it down as soon as you know. Even if something's, you know, just kind of low on stock, maybe you're missing a few of them, just write it down because odds are a few more will sell soon. When new items come in, all employees spend separate shifts marking down the inventory to be sure the entire shipment came in and place them in the correct spots, both in the warehouse and on the shelves. So, what date does inventory come in?
Wednesdays.
Yep. What should be done as soon as inventory comes in?
They should be stocked up or restocked.
Perfect. So lastly, we'll go over just coworker interaction. So we want you to be polite to coworkers. Don't speak poorly of other coworkers. Share the workplace. 1 or 2 people should not be doing most of the work. Shouldn't have people out there asking questions, being friendly, and then people just kind of sitting around. If another employee has a question, answer them and give them as much information as they need. If you see a coworker making a mistake, correct them. Try not to discuss controversial topics. This often leads to arguments, you know, like politics or stuff like that. If you have a serious issue with another coworker, just contact HR. If you've already brought it up to your manager or something like that, and it just keeps becoming a problem, we'd rather you talk to HR about it. So, when you're making emails, so communication, make sure the subject line states the purpose. People get a lot of spam, and so relevant subject line is really important. Something with Best Buy in the line will often be enough. Use a reasonable greeting, just something like hello, their name, good morning, good evening, something like that, just a good time of day. Be sure the content is understandable and the grammar is correct. Sign off correctly, thanks for your time, thank you, something like that. Have a nice day, those are just a bunch of examples. So, what are 4 of the 7 items mentioned about coworker interaction? Just shoot off a couple, so like, be polite would be one of them.
Avoid controversial topics.
Yeah. Come on.
Divide the workload evenly if you can.
Yep, you're exactly right. So it'll be something else, just like...
Everyone greet customers, not just one person doing
Yep.
it.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Normally I would have you guys write a structured email, but since this is just kind of a presentation, we don't have the time, but that would be a review for that. So now we're getting to some of the last things that we'll cover. One is just the boss. Your boss is a higher up in the business world. He's not some omnipotent, dominant being that you can't say anything to, you know. If it's a minor issue, discuss with the coworkers or even HR. If you're having an issue that goes beyond the aforementioned people, just speak with your manager or your boss. Everyone you work with is a human just like you. It's not like these people are so far above you that you can't just have a conversation with them or anything. So we'll talk quickly about motivation too. It's really important to be motivated when you come to work. Studies show that employees actually, when they're more motivated to come to work, they accomplish a lot more. If there's one thing worse than an unhappy customer, it's an unhappy employee. Everything is better for everyone when you enjoy coming to work and having a productive and happy day. Everyone needs to work together to be a well-oiled machine and provide the best experience for the business, the employees, and the customers. We don't want you guys to come to work if you don't enjoy yourself. We want you to be happy there, and if you're happy there, everyone's happy. So what can we learn? It's important to realize that there's always more to know. Questions are helpful, and never be afraid to ask them. We're a team, and without each other, we wouldn't have a business. So we're excited. Did anyone have any questions about anything?
Ready to work.
Awesome.
Let's get started.